Have you ever heard of the ghost story? Has anyone narrated marry a ghost? Here, I'll be sharing with you an unbelievable story. Yet it happened. In fact, their wedding photos were hung on the wall of their house. How did we get here, you may ask? Let us begin this unbelievable but true life story. As of 2017, Angela was said to be in her 40s, lived in the northern part of Nigeria, Lafia precisely. She left Benue State to another state, Lafia, due to the pressure by her parents to get married. Her mates were already married. It became worse when her best friend also got married. Angela used to have a lot of boyfriends, but none of them took her serious. She decided to relocate to another state in order to start her life afresh. Her mother was not in support of it. Why will you move to another state? She queried. But her dad supported her, even gave her money to start up. She went to Lafia and started her orange business, which was going pretty well. On one fateful day, when she went to buy orange and was coming back, the driver charged her extra, but she wasn't having the money because she had used most of her money to buy oranges in bulk. She resorted in begging the driver to reduce the price, but he refused. And suddenly, a man sitting in front of the car offered to complete the money for her. Lucky day for her, you may think, but I believe that was the beginning of Angela's woes. Conversation started, and she later learned that Joseph was new to the state and he was also a barrister. Conversation led to friendship, and subsequently they started dating. Angela was so happy she finally found true love. In fact, Joseph was everything you could ever dream of. She got pregnant in the process. That was when Joseph asked for her hand in marriage. Angela's mother was overjoyed by the fact that her daughter had finally brought a suitor. Introduction day came. They were shocked to see that it was only Joseph and two people, a man and a woman, who came to Angela's village. But when Angela's people found out that she was pregnant, they refused to collect the bride price, cause in their land thief culture, men do not pay bride price when a woman is pregnant. After birth, they can come back and do the needful, in which both parties agreed. Angela and Joseph went back to Lafia. Then Angela moved in with Joseph. They lived in a secluded outskirts in Lafia. After some months, Angela gave birth to a son called Joseph Jr. She was overjoyed. Everything she yearned in life has been offered to her on a platter. However, there were signs Joseph gave to her, but she was blinded by it all. First of all, she noticed that Joseph was unusually quiet, and whenever she confronted him, Joseph would end up saying that he was thinking about his family back home. Initially, when they were dating, Angela would ask Joseph why he left his state, that is Taraba, to Lafia. Joseph replied that his family were killed in a communal clash. Another sign, Joseph was always talking about death and that he cannot wait to join his family. Weird, isn't it? Whenever he talks about death, he talks about it in a happy way. How can a man be thinking about death and happily talking about it? Angela saw that as weird, but never took it as a sign. When their son was 4 years, she, Angela, intended enrolling their son in a school nearby. But her husband refused. Even going to church was a problem. It was quite odd. Angela demanded why her son would not be enrolled to school like other children. However, Joseph told her that he was planning on relocating them to a bigger city, and that if they get there, Joseph would go to a bigger school. Angela believed her husband and did not argue further. In another scenario, Joseph had a dream, told Angela in her dream that him and their son, Joseph Jr., died with a joyous attitude instead of being sober. In fact, the dream was scary and Angela prayed over it. Another angle, Joseph never kept any friend. The only time she saw Joseph's friends was during their introduction. It was a man and a woman that accompanied them. Joseph, who claimed that he was an orphan, but Angela never saw these two people again. Even when she gave birth, they never came. And whenever she queries her husband, "When are your friends visiting?" Joseph would then pick up his phone to make an unimaginary calls, calling his friends, but never gave her the phone to talk with them. He did all this to calm her down. Joseph had a job. He was a lawyer, as he claimed. But Angela, who usually leaves earlier than him to go to the market, comes back any time of the day and meets Joseph at home. Joseph will always claim that he was just returning back. She never suspected anything. Angela never knew his place of work. She never knew his colleague. But Angela never bothered to investigate. All she knew was that Joseph was always providing money, taking care of her own family, and even sending money to the village. So her family didn't even bother about payment of the bride price anymore. Nobody talked about it. In fact, Angela never knew any of Joseph's friends throughout their marriage. Although Joseph gave Angela hints, but she never saw through it because he treated her very well. However, a day came when she learned the biggest secret of her husband, which he has been keeping from her. How did she learn all this, you may ask? Please, if you've not yet subscribed to this my beautiful channel, kindly click on the subscription bell and also turn up your post notification, share and comment this on the comment section. When Angela's son turned 5, Angela wanted to expand her business. She started looking for a bigger shop. When she found one, she met the landlord, Alhaji Usman, who needed a man to vouch for her, maybe her husband or her father. In Alhaji Usman's voice, "I cannot just give out my shop to an irresponsible woman. I need the backing of a man," which Angela happily agreed. "I am responsible. I am a married woman. In fact, I am going to bring my husband the next day for you to see him and talk to him." Angela was so happy and went home to tell her husband, "What the landlord needed is for him to see you." Joseph agreed, but Joseph never went back to meet Alhaji Usman. Days turned to weeks and Angela hadn't rented the shop. Whenever Alhaji Usman sees Angela, he tells her that he will soon be traveling and may not come back on time, and that he might end up giving the shop to someone else. In fact, he intended giving the shop to someone else, but his spirit aligns with Angela's own, and that is why he has waited this long. But he was running out of patience. But Angela pleaded with him that her husband had a busy schedule and that he will come. Alhaji Usman, taking pity on Angela's situation, decided to see her husband himself. Angela was so excited, gave the address to the landlord to visit her. Angela went home and never told Joseph about the landlord coming over. Who knows, if she had told Joseph, her husband, a lot of things might have changed. But Angela failed to tell her husband her discussion with Alhaji Usman. However, Alhaji Usman had a guest who was with him named Tamba, and both of them went to Joseph's house. Unfortunately, Tamba knew Joseph when he was alive. In fact, he was close to Joseph. Joseph actually dated Tamba's younger sister. He knew him in Taraba. He attended Joseph's funeral. But Tamba didn't know where Alhaji Usman, his friend, was taking him to. All he knew that he was escorting his friend for a business. When Alhaji Usman and Tamba knocked at the door, it was Angela who answered, and she was surprised and taken aback. "Oh my God, I totally forgot. I didn't tell my husband you were coming." Immediately, Angela went into the room to inform her husband about the guests that came visiting, and Joseph came out to greet their guests. Immediately, Tamba recognized Joseph, but he was not sure. He knew Joseph was dead and died from a car accident and has been buried for more than 10 years. Now, seeing this man who looked so much like his former friend, who even dated his sister. But many people do not look alike that way. Joseph, who had not spotted Tamba, was busy exchanging pleasantry with Alhaji Usman. That was when Tamba took a closer look at him and shouted, "Big Joe!" Joseph looked at Tamba and startled. Immediately he saw Tamba, he became uncomfortable. In fact, that was when Tamba was convinced that it was the same guy that died in a car accident. Angela, on the other hand, was surprised. "You know my husband?" Because she had never met any of her husband's friends, relatives, or even colleagues. So she was happy to see that somebody somewhere knew her husband. But the situation was becoming a little bit weird. Instead of Joseph to shake Tamba, he immediately excused himself and dashed to the room. Seeing the confusion, Angela asked the confused Tamba, "You know my husband?" Tamba melted out, saying that it is not possible. "I know this guy, Big Joe. He has been dead for over 10 years now. He died via a car accident. He even dated my own sister." Angela said, "It is not possible. I have been married for 6 years to this man. I even have a son for him, Joseph Jr." In fact, Alhaji Usman was confused as well as Angela. Angela immediately ran to the room, couldn't find her husband there, searched the room. What happened next shocked her. If you have not yet subscribed, please kindly click on the subscribe button and comment down below. Share this video to your family and loved ones also. Her husband and her 5-year-old son had disappeared. That was when reality dawned on Angela and she fainted. Thank God that Alhaji Usman and Tamba, who were there, resurrected her. Later, Tamba told Angela that of a truth, Joseph's family have died via community clash, but that was long after Joseph died. In fact, there was confusion. Angela became confused and afraid. She could no longer stay in that house. As days went by, the tales and news spread about what happened. A woman who has been married and living with a ghost. She relocated back to Benue to meet her family, told them what happened. They were shocked but accepted and welcomed their daughter back. She stopped selling oranges and became a food vendor for the local community. She moved on with her life. In fact, she told people the story. News outlets came to ascertain how true it was. She told them all the stories, how it started, and the suspicions that she faced, but she never put up one on one together. Following the ugly incident, her family members took her to prayers, deliverance, and a whole lot of other rituals. In fact, that was what made her to move on. Angela never remarried. Just like me, I know you have a lot of questions, but I have my questions to dish out. Why did this man live with the child, Joseph Jr.? Is Joseph Jr. a ghost also, like the father? I would like to know whether you believe in ghost story. You can share any of your ghost story with me about someone who has been married and lived with a ghost, and how the person found out. What are the chances that Joseph might be somewhere in another city with his son, living a new life and looking for another woman to be married to? Quite huge, you may say. Okay, guys, this is where I end this beautiful story. Quite pathetic, quite scary, and quite touching. If you did enjoy this video, please kindly click on the subscribe button and also turn on your post notification. Share this video to your friends, to your loved ones, and also comment down below what other kind of videos you want me to be doing in this channel. Thank you very much for watching, and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye bye, guys.